There's a great website called Upworthy, and I just saw in yesterday's Upworthy a gentleman named Bill Nye, who is a well-known commentator on TV about science. And in a video lasting 1 minute and 18 seconds, he tried to debunk astrology. So in my sense of responsibility to the reality of astrological teachings is such that I need to debunk his debunking. And it goes something like this. He makes the claim, correctly, that astrology is based on the constellations of the signs, and that the period of the constellations of the signs right now is such that if you are, let's say, a Sagittarius, the sun is really falling into the sign of Scorpio. Actually, it's 23 degrees difference at this particular stage. What he fails to understand is that there's a difference between sidereal astrology and tropical astrology. Sidereal astrology is based on the constellations as physical units in the heavens. Fully 50% of all the world's astrologers use that astrology. So he's wrong in thinking that astrologers are basing their assessments on incorrect astronomical data, because 50% of astrologers are using just what he says we don't use. That's number one. Number two, the other 50%, including myself, are tropical or Western astrologers. And what we do is that we take the vernal equinox point of every year, which is approximately March 20th, March 21st. We call that 0 degrees of Aries, and then we divide the ecliptic, which is the apparent orbit of the sun around the earth, which is actually the earth around the sun. We take that and we divide it up into 12 equal segments, and we call that Aries, Taurus, Gemini, etc. I cannot in 1.18 minutes describe why that is so, nor in 5 or 6 minutes of this video describe why that is so. But because it's very technical, but what I can say is that we, Western tropical astrologers, are totally aware that there is this difference of 23 degrees in zodiacal signs. We also are very aware that Hindu, Vedantic, sidereal astrologers are very fatalistic. This and this, their astrology is not psychologically developmental. Their astrology, which is a very valid system, I think that Vedantic astrology is amazing. Their predictive abilities are incredible. Their techniques are thousands of years old. But I'm not a Vedantic astrologer. I'm a Western tropical astrologer. And what is Western astrology based on in terms of the frame of reference that we as astrologers use? Is that we have freedom of choice. That we use a mutable zodiac because we have a mutable sense of the ability for the human being to consciously cooperate with the forces of the cosmos. Now, I would love to speak to you for another hour or more about the differences between sidereal and tropical astrology. I cannot. One thing, and I will close these comments with the following statement. And this statement I'm addressing to Mr. Nye, for whom I have respect as an astronomer. Remember that astronomy is to astrology what physiology is to psychology. We just don't look for the form and the material of life. We look for the meaning that is contained within the form, and that stands behind formation. I am not a physicist. I'm a metaphysician. In any event, what I have to say to Mr. Nye, with all due respect, is what Sir Isaac Newton, a very famous astrologer and discoverer of the Newton's laws of gravity, among other things, said to Mr. Halley, the astronomer who discovered Halley's Comet. And in their conversation, Sir Isaac said to Mr. Halley about astrology, and I say this to Mr. Nye, I, sir, have studied the subject, and you, sir, have not. I have spent almost 50 years studying astrology. It works. Whether it is tropical or sidereal, it works, and you cannot debunk thousands of years of empiric astrological data in a video lasting 1.18 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Nye.